What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another news video. WrestleMania 36 has already been taped, as has last night's edition of Raw, with several big names scheduled to appear, including Edge, The Undertaker and Becky Lynch. Will their opponents be there as well? Join us now as Wrestlelamia analyzes Raw and looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including the WWE's plans for SummerSlam, Roman Reigns tells the fans they don't know the whole story, and a nasty botch on Raw. As always, we won't waste your time recapping the matches, but we will take a look at the good, the bad and the downright ugly from last night's show. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the good, as number 1, it'll make you famous. Last night, The Undertaker cut one of the greatest promos in his career, promising vengeance on AJ Styles and reminding fans why he's a living legend. The Phenom got things started by acknowledging he understands why Styles called him out, but then pointed out Styles' mistake in calling his wife out. Taker cut a scathing promo on Styles, mocking his nickname the Phenomenal One, questioning Styles' courage by insinuating he didn't enter the WWE until years after most of its biggest stars were gone, including The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Eddie Guerrero and Edge. And even pointing out Styles' jealousy at Michelle McCool for her getting her finisher the Faithbreaker over more than Styles got over the Styles Clash. At least Taker was doing well until that last claim. Last night's promo was well shot, giving off a spooky vibe accentuated by the AJ Styles tombstone in the background. This was the type of promo that drives fans to see a match just as much as the storyline behind it. Number 2. A good introduction. With the WWE scrambling to replace ill or injured superstars at WrestleMania, it's not always easy to introduce the replacement, particularly someone the fans are unfamiliar with. Such was the case with United States Champion Andrade, whose injury knocked him out of his tag team match alongside Angel Garza against the Street Profits. This forced the WWE to find a new partner. Last night's Raw not only introduced Andrade's replacement, Austin Theory, but put him into a 6-man match so fans could see him in action. It was a good introduction despite Theory's team losing, and Austin looks like he'd be a good addition to Zelina Vega's quickly growing stable of heels. Number 3. A powerful reminder. Last night's Raw did give fans a trip down memory lane, as The Undertaker, Paul Heyman and Edge reminded them just how important promos are to the wrestling business. To be certain, Kevin Owens and Becky Lynch did a good job too, but they were overshadowed by the veterans' verbal skills, helping to build interest in the match. While fans are used to wrestlers cutting promos in front of thousands of fans, last night's show proved that a backstage promo can be equally effective, and in some cases even more effective. It's a lesson the WWE should incorporate once it resumes shows in front of fans. But that was the good. What about the bad? As number 1, repeat. While fans have grown accustomed to seeing big matches from WrestleMania and other pay-per-views on Raw, there's no reason why the WWE had to replay Aleister Black's squash match against Jason Cade or rerun Seth Rollins' promo against Kevin Owens from last week. It was lazy booking and no way to run the go-home show for WrestleMania. Number 2. A senseless segment. Last night's brief segment where Charlotte Flair ambushed Rhea Ripley was painful to watch for several reasons. Not only did the NXT Women's Champion oversell Charlotte's blindside kick like she was shot out of a cannon, but the segment was way too short, with Flair kicking Ripley in the back then walking away. What was particularly useless about the segment was seeing a number of people off in the distance that weren't practicing social distancing, but instead seemingly just passing the time with small talk. Whether or not this is accurate, it's puzzling why the WWE chose to air this segment, suggesting they're not practicing social distancing with the utmost care. Number 3. Raw or a WrestleMania pre-show. Last night's Raw was an odd show, especially when you consider that this is the go-home episode of Raw. The show featured some excellent promos by Edge, Undertaker and Kevin Owens, but it lacked the intense matches you'd expect to build up what's arguably the weakest WrestleMania in WWE history. Last night's show was more akin to a pay-per-view pre-show rather than a go-home show, with lots of hype videos, promos, and one good match, that being the 6-man tag. Unlike pre-shows where fans are usually already invested in ordering a pay-per-view, last night's show didn't create much buzz for coming back this weekend. Although there are some potentially fantastic matches on paper, the fact that it's being held in the Performance Center could lead to many fans deciding to pass on it. With that in mind, why wouldn't you put your best efforts into Raw? And number 4, false advertising. Last night's episode of Raw waited too long to run down the matches for this year's Mania. Unlike years past, there was one rundown of the card rather than reminding fans throughout the night. Even worse, the WWE advertised 2 matches that fans know aren't gonna happen. The triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship and Roman Reigns vs Universal Champion Goldberg. We know that The Miz won't compete at WrestleMania, which means Morrison is wrestling on his own, either against a member of the Usos, the New Day, or both. That's something WWE hasn't confirmed yet, but they have confirmed that Roman Reigns is out, which means there's no reason to keep promoting his match. It's insulting to the fans' intelligence and makes little sense. But that was the good and the bad. What about the downright ugly? Last night's Raw was a disappointment, but thankfully not a disaster. If it wasn't for the strong promos from veteran superstars, the show would have been a complete dud. Wrestlelamia is hoping WrestleMania delivers, but it won't matter if few fans are watching it. With no big matches to speak of, last night's show offered little incentive for fans to tune in and potentially little incentive to watch Mania. The WWE is gambling by airing Mania rather than postponing it, and last night it gambled even further by relying on so many promos. But that was the good, the bad and the downright ugly of Raw. Let's move on to the news, as our first story looks at Roman Reigns telling the fans they don't know the whole story. Fans have known for several days that Roman Reigns won't be competing at WrestleMania 36 against Universal Champion Bill Goldberg, and now the WWE has confirmed it. However, Reigns posted a video on Instagram letting everyone know there's more to his decision to pull out than they know.
You already know what's going on. It's all over the news, the dirt sheets, whatever you want to call them. That I pulled out of WrestleMania. And it's funny because, like, for years now, man, years, people are like, don't show up to WrestleMania. We don't want you in it. You know what I mean? There's like a nice handful of dudes and haters that didn't want me there. But the moment I make a choice for me and my family, I'm a coward, I'm a sissy, a lot of, you know what I mean? A lot of different things that I am now.
Reigns was hot, going on to say,
but you don't know the whole story. All you know is what you think. Oh, well, his health and this and that, but you don't know what else is going on in my life. You don't know if I have newborns. You don't know if I have family in my household, older family.
The problem is that some fans don't know the exact details, and while Reigns is under no obligation to explain his actions, he really shouldn't go off on a rant. While it's certain the usual trolls criticize him backing out of matches, he shouldn't burn up the goodwill he's created with the WWE Universe over the last year. But all that aside, it is the best decision for Roman Reigns to sit out Mania, even sit out WWE for a couple of months. Health should always come first. Next up, WWE SummerSlam situation. While SummerSlam may be a long way off, 23rd August, it is the WWE's next Big 4 pay-per-view after WrestleMania, and fans are curious what to expect. In an exclusive story, Ringside News discussed just how much is currently planned. Ringside News has been told that the WWE is currently making no plans for SummerSlam. There are no discussions right now about SummerSlam was the exact phrasing given to us. This includes any rumored matches that might have leaked out. At this time, the company is not thinking about the SummerSlam card. Right now, the WWE is busy making sure that WrestleMania 36 goes off as well as possible, so it makes sense they want to get through with this and the burden of getting its empty arena shows over with the fans. Next up, WWE's possible plans for the Hall of Fame. While it looks like the WWE's plans for SummerSlam are on the proverbial back burner, what about the postponed Hall of Fame ceremony? Ringside News has been told that the WWE also discussed the possibility of holding the 2020 WWE Hall of Fame ceremony along with Money in the Bank. It wasn't specified if it would be in an event or a separate show on the night prior. Money in the Bank is scheduled for 10th May in Baltimore, Maryland. However, with President Donald Trump advising US citizens to maintain social distancing through 30th April, is it realistic to expect the WWE to hold its pay-per-view or its Hall of Fame so soon? There was talk from the British Bulldog's daughter that the WWE was planning to hold the Hall of Fame around the same time as SummerSlam, and right now that may be their best option. And finally, our last bit of news, as Montez Ford had a nasty bump on Raw. But during the 6-man tag match between the Street Profits and Kevin Owens against Angel Garza, Austin Theory and Seth Rollins, Montez Ford did a dive over the top rope and crashed really hard onto the floor down below, and it was accompanied with something that sounded like a bone-crunching injury. Ford took to Twitter and posted a clip from a Mike Tyson fight where Tyson said he broke his back. Hopefully that's not the case with Montez Ford, and we wish him a speedy recovery. But there you have it guys, the good, the bad and the downright ugly from the 30th March edition of Raw, as well as the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.